Hi there, Dawn McVey here. Today we're going to talk about layering cover plate die cuts. It's a really unique way to create gorgeous background patterns and even some really pretty focal points. And I've got several different suggestions for how you might want to put your own spin on today's challenge, so I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Okay, so I think a lot of us have probably at one time or another layered actual die cuts, just small die cut shapes that when you layer them, you can create all kinds of dimension and texture. But for some reason, only recently, it occurred to me that I could layer cover plate die cuts in their entirety for a really unique look. Cover plates are paper trays, dies that are the size of a full-sized card front. They're sized to fit a standard A2 size card, so they're big dies. So for this particular card a couple of weeks ago, I layered two of the this is the cover plate in the woods die, and I layered two of those die cuts in Raspberry Fizz and Pure Poppy cardstock. I adhered them securely around the edges, but I left the centers not glued down so that I could kind of fluff those tree branches forward a little bit for a little bit of texture. The thing that I did with the Pure Poppy layer behind, was tip it slightly so that it's not layered directly behind the, it's not lined up perfectly with the pink layer. That way you can see those added branches. And I was thinking, how cool would this be in like a variety of greens? And you could even layer 3 or 4 layers to get even more texture and dimension. So that's kind of where this idea came from. Something else you could do is stack up multiple cover plate die cuts from different dies. So for instance, Papertrey has a lot of these different striped cover plates, vertical stripes, horizontal stripes, etc. What would happen if you were to take this die cut and layer them together for a really unique look? So just don't be afraid to get your supplies out, grab whatever cover plates you happen to have, and see what you can make work. I think that this will be a really fun challenge, and you may be surprised with the really unique backgrounds and such that you can create. For today, I'm going to go with the cover plate peony die, because I want to show you how you can create a really pretty shadow effect with some of these die cuts as well. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock here that I've gone ahead and die cut with the cover plate peony die. One is New Leaf cardstock and one is Tropical Teal. And as you can see, some of the pieces have already started to fall out. So I'm going to go ahead and pop all of these little pieces out, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I have all of the little pieces popped out, and now it is time for the fun part. I've got a standard sized card base here. This is just Stampers Select white cardstock, and I've already cut it and scored it to be an A2 sized card. And I'm going to take the Tropical Teal layer, because that's the one that I want on the front. I've got some Tombow Mono multi glue here, and I'm going to, I want to put glue all the way around the frame. And then I also want to just add some dabs of glue here and there on the flower portion. I don't want much glue in the middle because I don't want it to ooze out and get all over everything when we turn this over. But just a little to keep things where I want them. Now to create the shadow effect, I'm going to situate this die cut straight over the top of the New Leaf layer, except shifted slightly to the left. I don't want there to be any space between the 2 layers. So for instance, when this is on the card front, I don't want you to see any white between those 2 layers, so that it truly looks like a shadow. So you may need to fidget with it just a little bit to get everything lined up just right. Once you get everything positioned, you want to press it down well. And now we're going to do the same thing on the back. Glue all the way around the edges. And again, dabbed here and there on the flowers and the leaves. Ultimately, I'm not worried about every single bit of it being flat against the card. I just want to kind of hold things in place. When I put it on the front of the card, I'm going to use the tropical teal layer as my guide. I'm not worrying about the fact that that new leaf layer is sticking out over the edge a bit, because I'm just going to trim that off. Can you see how that's got a nice little shadow effect there? So now I'm going to trim these edges really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the edges are all trimmed up and nice and neat, the last thing I want to do is add a sentiment. So I've just got a strip of that same new leaf cardstock, which is the back layer. And I've got a thank you sentiment here from Boutique Borders Thanks. And I want to use some new leaf ink. And I'm going to stamp it off to the right a bit. And then I will use some foam adhesive to adhere this to the front of my card. Put it slightly off to the right just a bit. And I'm going to trim off this right edge just a smidge so that it matches the other edge. And there you have it. Layered cover plate die cuts.
Okay, so I hope I've inspired you to get your cover plates out and do a little creating of your own. I can't wait to see what you come up with. This is going to be a really fun challenge. If you'd like to play along this week, be sure to head over to Nicole Hetty's blog where you can leave a link to your project so we can all see what you came up with. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Dawn McVey with Make It Monday.